Good morning, students. In today's lecture, we will be focusing upon the issues of listening. In my previous few lectures, I have told you about the oral communication and the importance of oral communication at length. And similarly, what I have tried to do in this particular lecture of mine is to incorporate a very important aspect of communication, and that is listening. Why why am I saying that listening is a very important thing? It is just because of the fact that, as said by one of the most eminent people, a great scholar, he suggests that there are two ears and one mouth. And the reason he gave that hearing is twice complex than speaking. So you can imagine uh, the kind of a strength your listening have in it. Because ultimately, when communication is going to play a role in your life, the thing that is of utmost importance is that of your listening aspects, and how you do it, and what you do it, and what are the things of listening. I'm going to tell you in this particular lecture of mine. So, like you can see in your diagram itself, listening is receiving of language through the ears. Listening involves identifying a sound of speeches and process them into words and sentences. When we listen, we use our ears to receive the individual sounds, letters, stress, rhythm, and pause. And we use our brain to convert these messages into something meaningful or something that means to it. Listening of any language requires focus and attention. It is a skill that some people need to work at harder than the others. People who have difficulty in concentrating have typically the poor listener, and listening is a second language and require greater focus. So, like in the slide only, you can imagine the strength or the gravity of listening. Listening holds a kind of a thing that is of utmost importance in the arena of your communication. What is happening, students? That say, for example, I'm delivering a lecture to you all. At the back bench, or people who are not in a mood to listen to me, either they will pay lot and lot of attention by just gazing at me and just pretending to listen to me, or either they will go off to sleep. Now, listening is a very important factor. We can illustrate it with the help of an example. Say, for example, during the discussion in a class itself, I raise a question and I say, Mr. Sam, what's the answer of this question? Now, if Sam is not in a position to actually or answer me, the basic reason could be that he has not listened to my question. Listening is of utmost importance to you people, because without listening, in reality, you cannot do any of the thing. Many of us need to we do this type of gesture just by placing a hand onto your ear to make your funnel shaped ear look and receive all the signals from the words, and then interpret it in your own language and something meaningful. Like babies, we learned the skill of listening to people who already know how to speak the language. This may be or may not include the native speaker. For practice, you can listen the live records, voices. Most voices are important to listen, and variety of voices as often they can to be heard to. Listening not only helps in understanding what people are saying to you, it also helps you to speak clearly to the other people. Now, say for instance, I am telling you a particular story, and by the end of the story, I ask you a question. Now, the moment I ask you a question, what is that very first thing comes to my mind, to your mind, is that what was the thought, what was the where the question actually arose from. So if you have listened to whatever I have told you, or if you have listened to whatever I have explained you, you could have interpreted it in your own language and have produced the thing as I want it to be. So to be actually listening, you need to pay a lot of attention to it. Now, in this matter only, I would like to tell you all that our brain captures much of the voices. It at times capture many voices. It capture many of the sounds and all. And out of these sound, only 8% can be retained in brain for a very longer period of time. And out of that 8%, only 6 to 7% is of importance to you all. So what actually is happening is that in the process of listening, we tend to eradicate all those words which are of no importance to us, or is not of interest to us. Say for example, a tedious lecture of any of the subject, may it could be of business communication only, a very tedious lecture. Say for example, you had your all the lectures throughout the day, and at the end of the day, I came to class and say that, okay, the topic for today is listening. Now, will you actually listen to me? No, because your mind is now totally bogged off with any kind of lecture. But say for example, I come to the class and say, okay students, I'm not going to take you any lecture of yours, but I'm going to tell you a story. So something interesting, something that drives your mind, something that attracts you the most, you always tend to listen to it. Definition of listening: listening is an active process of receiving, responding to spoken, sometimes unspoken messages. It is one subject that is studied in the field of language of arts, discipline, and conversation analysis. Now, I have used the word unspoken message. Now, why do I use this particular word unspoken message, and what is it actually mean? Unspoken messages are those messages which we tend to realize from our own body language. Say, for example, you are tired, you have lots and lots of lectures, you have lots and lots of assignments, and I, as a teacher, come to your class and say, okay, students, let us begin with a new chapter, that is listening. Now, I need to actually understand your body language. Though you won't say anything to me, but in reality, you feel like, oh, had it been that this particular teacher would have not taken this language, or would have not taken this lecture, or he would have given us any kind of assignment or something like that, or he would have just told a kind of a case study or a kind of a interpretation of his own. So this would have made our tiresome thing a little less. So this is the unspoken thought which you actually are not speaking to me, but it can be inculcated, or it can be preceded by your body language, by your gestures, by your communication abilities. Now, listening is not just hearing like other party conversation. Listening means taking a vigorous human interest in what is being told to us, said by Alice Duell Miller. Now, Alice Duell Miller gave you the concept of that listening means taking human interest. Now, if I take interest in you all, only then I'll be able to understand your problem. Say, for instance, I'm a very kind of rude kind of teacher, and I just come to the class and deliver my lecture and just go away without even thinking about my students, without even actually thinking about that, what kind of feeling, or what kind of a kind of a notion they perceive towards the subjects and all, whether they are actually understanding my subject or not. I just go on and on, continuously. So it is a process wherein I am actually listening towards your interest arena, and I am actually making a phenomenal aspects towards you. So he also cites four level of listening. Now there are four levels of listening which Alice Duer Miller has given you. First, acknowledging, sympathizing, paraphrasing, and empathizing. This acknowledging, you all must be know, I need to acknowledge your behavior. You say, sir, we don't want to study as we have all the lectures throughout the day. So can you give us a little piece, or can you just give us little time to rest? Because we didn't get any time to rest and all. So I must acknowledge this fact that you all are human beings, not a machine. So if I say no, 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 I just don't want to listen to you all because I want to finish my subject. I just need to pay lot of attention towards my subject itself without actually adhering to your tone and desires. So a feeling of negative apathy will create into your mind. So I need to acknowledge your behavior. Sympathizing. Sympathizing means you need to sympathize with people. In my previous lecture of oral communication, where I told you the two sides of oral communication, that was reflecting and sympathizing. So, uh, is it is basically, or if I have told you about empathy. Let's first move on to empathy. Then we are going to go to the sympathizing aspect, because it comes first before, because empathizing comes before sympathizing. So empathizing means you need to create an empathy towards someone. That means that yes, a feeling of notion towards someone, that means giving him solace, giving him kind of a thing which he actually needs, a true words of gestures, a true words of knowledge and all. Sympathizing means you have sympathy towards someone. Now, sympathizing doesn't mean that I pity upon you. Sympathizing means that I actually understand your problem. Paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is I am actually listening to you. I am using some other words to make you feel that whatever you are saying is true. Say, for example, in the process of group discussion, there's a topic raised that liquor should be banned in India. Now, A says that liquor should ban in India, but B says that liquor shouldn't be banned in India because it is a part and parcel of economy, and economy gets really much boosted by this particular thing. So, what should be my perseverance? My perseverance, if I opt for paraphrasing, or just I just want to convince both of them, I will say I agree to both of you. I know that it is very good for economy, but at the same time, it is not good for health. So, in this manner, I have used another word without actually giving it a ultimate importance to any one of them. I have used my paraphrasing technique to actually listen, to actually make them understand that what they need and what they desire for. Importance for listening. Now, listening holds its own importance in the business arena or in the arena of your life. Say, for example, it includes the functions like managing, coaching, mentoring, facilitating. You listen in all the type of thing. You manage people. So, in order to manage people, you need to listen to them, provide coaching, mentoring, facilitating. You are all doing these type of works with the help of listening process only. Sales, negotiation, arbitration, market research. This also is very much liable upon listening itself, because listening form the part and parcel of your sales and negotiation, your arbitration, your market research and all. Because unless and until you listen to someone, you won't be able to do any of the things. Appraisal, interviewing, training, consultancy, they are the other aspect of listening. That means, say for example, you want to interview someone, or you are training someone, you are providing a consultancy towards someone, or appraisal, or appraising someone. So you are actually listening to what is the topic all about. So in reality, what you need to do is you need to focus upon each of the element of listening in accordance to the each and every element of this particular gestures. Good listening is vital process of these activities. Yes, it is a very vital process of these activities, making decisions, researching agreements, selling and influencing, dealing with the customer complaints, getting and giving information such as policy of instructions, feedback, marketing information. These all are the activities that are going to be, you can say, listening can provide an aid towards fulfillment of these type of activities. Let us now just make a quick thing of listening, importance of listening, one more aspect to it. See, listening is essential for an effective speaker, or effectiveness or efficiency of the speaker can be maintained by your listening ability only. To be an effective speaker, you need to take a feedback from audience. You need to listen to what the audience actually want. Now, what is happening? Say, for example, I'm a very good orator. I am very good at giving speeches to thousands and thousands of people. But if I do not actually listen to them, if I do not actually hear what they mean by the terminologies, and if I just pay attention to my words only, I will be a kind of a self-centric person, emphasizing on what I want to say. See, students, we must never adopt the policy of Hitler. Because what Hitler used to do, Hitler used to communicate by just saying that, listen to me as an individual, rather than going for other things. Listen to me as an individual. So you need not to focus upon that. You need to basically focus upon what mostly is going to affect your genre, and that means by listening to the other people who are, as your, say, you can say, they are your critics. They want to ask, and they are going to provide you with the proper feedback of what they actually have listened and what they actually want to make think of. Without listening, no organization can operate effectively nor ultimately survive. Now, any organization, say for example, any organization of any type or any velocity, you just cannot make without the survival of your listening aspects. Because when you listen to your employee or when you listen to your people, you tend to make changes in your habit. Say for example, you listen to your parents, you listen to your teachers. When any kind of critic come from parents or from teachers, you make that particular thing into your mind and then deliver a thought process of it. So basically you are actually listening your views, listening your things towards the other persons. Good listening and skillful questioning give powerful message to those whom you want to interact. Now, what is happening? That when you are making a question, or when you are making a question sense, so you need to interact with people, increasing the capacity to influence them. Now, you are actually, if you want to motivate them, to put it simple words, if you want to motivate someone, you first need to listen to someone. Now, say for example, a patient comes to a doctor, and he tells that there is lots and lots of pain in his body. So, doctor was going to ask him where. Uh, he said that he just then started. He started with saying that yesterday I had lots and lots of good food, good valuable food cooked by my wife or by my mother, and then I just ate it. Then I didn't walk, and then I didn't exercise a lot, and then when I just sat without exercising onto my desktop or onto my desk, a sudden pain struck into. So what he's doing, he's actually telling each and everything. Now, in between, if the doctor pokes him and said, "Okay, okay, I understood your point." So this is not the right way, because in reality, you need to actually listen to what the patient needs to say to you. So at the end of the day, if the doctor want to motivate him, if the doctor want to motivate him to buy a particular product from his chemist only, so it first need to listen to that particular person effectively. Listening and questioning are two most important part of your business communication. More questions, more listening, more will be the chances of getting the better things. So fundamental thing to this particular concept is that you need a human interaction. So continuous listening and apprehending of the thoughts is of utmost importance. Good listening allows us to demonstrate that we are paying attention to what is the thought process of others. We actually need to tell people that yes, I am listening to you. 10 principles of effective listening. Excuse me. Now, like the cartoon itself only says that in this particular cartoon, you can see that there is a very peculiar thing about the listening is that you idiot, I said ambulance and not ambience. So, this particular person needs ambulance, but this person who is standing with a plant and with an aroma candle into his hand, he didn't listen to the word which was being spoken to him by the other person. He used the word that I need an ambulance, and he heard I need an ambience. So, to create an atmosphere, so you need to actually listen to the things very carefully. For example, if someone tells you that they are happy with their life, but through gritted teeth and tears filling in their eyes, you should consider that the verbal and non-verbal message can be conflict. Now, there's an example. There's a very dicey type of example. At times, it happens that you say that there are tears in my eyes. I laugh so much, or I am so much so excited about, say, for example, meeting your parents after a long span of time. Say, for example, I think that the hostelers would be able to relate it to me to this particular point that the moment you enter your home after, say, a span of, say, 3 to 4 months, or say more than 6 months and all, and the moment you see your mother or your father, the kind of emotional, the kind of tear, the tear of happiness comes into your eyes. So you are actually communicating by your gestures that I am very happy and I'm overwhelmed by your particular thought. So this particular principle, let us start with the 10 principle of it. Don't talk, listen. When somebody else is talking, listen to what they actually are saying. Do not interrupt in between or talk over them to finish the sentence. Say, for example, I am saying that I am delivering you a lecture on, and in between, Mr. Peter or Mr. Samuelson interrupt me and say, you're giving a lecture on business communication. Yes, I know that. So I have not said that particular word, and I will just make a thing that you are wrong, and either I will scold them, or I will just make a thing of it and go on and on. So you need to basically listen to the person. You do not need to talk in between. Like, say, for example, you can see in the diagram itself that this particular boy is listening to what the girl is saying. The focus is totally towards the eyes, towards her nose, towards her eyes, and towards her facial expression and her gesture, that what she actually is trying to communicate to him. So if at sudden he speaks, so what will happen? The kind of tandem, the kind of momentum that was going on between these two people, or something important which she want to deliver to him, that will be break. That will break off, and the result will be that you won't be in a situation to deal with any kind of things. Prepare yourself to listen. Now you need to prepare yourself to listen. To put it other way around, let us take an example. Say, for example, uh, you are in a habit of talking in between. or you are in a habit of asking questions too much, and you cannot control that habit. uh, the moment a teacher comes to your class, butterflies start in your stomach, and you say that, okay, okay, I am ready with my question, I'm ready with my question. And the moment the teachers begin, the topic for today is listening. So the very first question comes to your particular mind. You says, ma'am, or sir, I have a question and I have doubt. And teacher said, what doubt? I have still not started with it. So you will feel insulted and you will feel bogged off that why I asked the question, and then a kind of a negative aura will develop between you and the teacher. So you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare your gut feeling. You need to prepare your abilities, your desires to actually ask the questions. Put a speaker at ease. Remember, student, to speak in public is not a very easy task. Say, for example, we all are in a habit of just making faces at someone who is presenting a particular thing. Say, for example, if I ask any one of you to come and deliver a particular aspect of, or any topic of any type onto the dice, and you all are 60 or 90 or 180 number. So coming onto the dice and speaking is not a very easy task. It requires lots and lots of guts and lots of patience. So you need to put a speaker into the ease comfort zone so that he may be able to motivate you. He will be able to deliver his speech. See, though it is a very important factor that self confidence is of utmost importance, and without self confidence you just cannot make the thing. But in reality, you need to uh, give a kind of a respect to your particular speaker. That's all I want to say. That is, uh, you need to give a respect to your speaker. Put him to ease. Remove distraction. Now, distraction are the things that, say for instance, you all a lecture is going on, and in sudden you make a sound like tipping of a particular pen, or making a doodle sound, making a sound with your phone, or making a sound with a paper, or with the tap of your feet. So distraction should be removed in the listening process, because if any kind of distraction is there, then it will be an insult to both the speaker as well as to the listener. Empathize. Look at the issue from their perspective. Let go of the preconceived ideas. By having an open mind, you can be more empathized with the speaker. Now, say for example, let's take an example of someone who stammers. Now, what is stammering? Stammering is when you and this makes a sound of it. Okay? Yeah, you make a sound of it, and you make a sound of anything which is going to create an empathy. That is going to make a sound, or stammer. You stammer a lot. So if a person is a stammering, if a person is actually delivering his thoughts, and in the moment of delivering his thoughts he is stammering, or he stammers, he just go on and then he stammers. So you need not to laugh at him. You need not to make a mock of him, or a joke of him. You just need to be very calm and composed, and actually try to make him deliver more of his thoughts. uh, in short, try to put yourself into his shoes and then realize that what kind of difficulty he or she must be having. So you need to empathize upon the aspect, and only then you can listen. If you listen accordingly, then your thoughts will be developed. Be patient. Be patient is a very important principle of your listening. You need to control your enthusiasm, because the thing is that by the end of the day, when you are listening to someone, you need to listen to it with poise and with patience. If you are not listening with poise and patience, what will happen? That you need to formulate. You will not be in a position to actually answer or actually form a question and then ask that particular person. So you need to be very, very patient in making the listening aspect of it. Avoid personal prejudice. Now, what is personal prejudice? Personal prejudice is, say, for example, uh, you are basically that this happens in class only. This happens in not only the class, because the world is a very competitive field. So it happens in the competition itself. Say, for example, the topper of your class comes to your particular comes to the dice to speak on a topic. Now there's a kind of pre-notion into your mind that he or she is a topper. Let's rip that particular person apart. Now, what you will do? You will make all kind of frowns. You will make all kind of faces. You will make all kind of gestures and try to just bog him or off. So, if by your gestures or any of the moment he doesn't get disturbed, then by the end of the presentation or by the end of the thing, you will ask such a silly question, or you will ask such questions that do not belong to the particular presentation and all, because you are being personally biased towards that particular person, that this person is so much so good and he or she is over talented. Let's check the talent. So you are no one to judge. You are no one to judge a being. You are basically a learner. Always be a learner. Try to listen. And when you listen it from the point of view of learner, then you will be able to actually comprehend that yes, whatever I am saying or whatever he or she is saying it in a very, very uh, accurate and acute manner. Listen to the tone. Now, both the volume and the tone are of great importance when you are listening to someone. Now, say for example, in my few slide previous, I have shown you someone who is forcing his ear, and then he is just making a thing of it. So don't make don't make it issue that if someone is speaking softly, just go on with it, that I'm not able to listen to you, that I'm not able to get your tone. Try to listen to what he or she is actually saying, because at times it happens that many of us are in a habit of speaking so low, or making a very low volume, or creating a very, very low volume, that we are not in a position to actually pitch the people. So try to listen to the words and try to listen to the momentum of things in an accurate manner. For that also you need to be patient enough. Listen for the ideas and not for the words. See, you need to practice this a lot. You need not to check this word is wrong, this word is right, because you are not a teacher, you are not a judge to judge someone towards the words, towards the verbology and all. You just need to focus your attention towards what he or she is focusing upon, the ideas or not. So basically, try to listen to the ideas, try to listen to the words, not to the words but to the ideas, to what he or she is saying. Wait and watch for the non-verbal communication. Now, what is happening? Say, for example, in this communication process only, non-verbal communication, I'm going to teach that particular aspect in the next of my lectures and all. Non-verbal communication in listening plays a very, very vital role, because your eyes, your ears, your color which you wear, your attitude, your feelings, your emotions, your hand movement, your gestures, the way you speak, the tone, the language, all needs to be watched, and you need to watch it with poise. You cannot say that wearing a orange color or wearing a red color or wearing a thing in a particular meeting won't suit you, because ultimately you need to wait for the non-verbal gesture. Say for example, a person is daunting towards you. He's pointing. He's again and again. Say for example, I'm again and again pointing my finger towards someone. So does I actually need to point it, or I'm just pointing it just to tell you a particular fact? Say for example, I'm doing this. I'm telling you all in this fashion. I'm telling you all by putting my fingers and daunting at you. So do I actually need to daunt it, or I mean to make you understand? Try to analyze that thing and try to wait and watch the non-verbal cues. That is very, very effective. Type of listening. Now, there are uh, basically following types of listening which are of utmost importance. First is biased listening. This type of listening does what it says on a tin. We hear things that confirm our preconceived biasness, opinion, or expectations. We hear what we want to hear, what we think that we should be hearing. This is due to the wide variety of factors. For example, we think we hear our boss say something because we are almost expecting them to say. So, may it be a praise, may it be a deadline or something like that. So, we are biased towards it. Now, what is biased listening? Biased listening is basically listening wherein you are actually creating a biasness towards someone. Biasness, or in total we can say that it is something that is going to create a biasness. Say for example, in the example itself, as you can see that the boss is always in a position or is always in a mood to uh, tell you something. He's always at go. So you are biased. Even though he will not say anything, you are biased enough that he has said something and I must listen to that particular word. So this is biased listening. When you are biased by the particular feeling, you are infected by that particular feeling, and then you look upon to it. Sympathetic listening and empathetic listening. Sympathetic listening, again, this is a pretty self-explanatory, but it is also important from the listening. Sympathetic listening is our way of showing that we understand what person is saying and how it is affecting them. See, Uh, basically, sympathy is when someone is saying that I am having pain in my stomach. So if you say, okay, okay, then it doesn't sounds pretty well, because you need not to say this. You need to calm him with the comfortable words. You need to calm him with sympathy. You need to say that, okay, do you need any kind of medication? Do you need any kind of supplement to provide solace to your ailment? So you actually need to tell a person that you are caring for them, and this is listening. Empathic listening. This is very much similar to sympathetic, but it takes things to a new level. Rather than looking at the observer and feeling, you need to empathize them by putting ourselves into someone's shoes. Basically, you need to now, say for example, empathy means when you are actually driving a particular person, or you are actually driving yourself into his shoes and feeling that particular pain. The moment you see the moment a child gets hurt, and the mother sees her child bleeding or sees a child in pain, the empathetic situation automatically enters into her mind, and she also feels that particular pain. It's a bond. You need to actually create a bond of sympathy and empathy between the two people. Critical listening. Critical listening is involved being listening about what is being taken, important bits, and making judgment what are needed. You basically need to critically evaluate that whatever things are being said is of utmost importance to me. Informational listening. You need to pay attention to the information being conveyed by the speaker. It is similar to the critical listening. Basically, when someone is giving you an information about any of the topics, say for example, I'm giving you a lecture on your listening aspect. So it's an information which I'm going to deliver to you all. So you need to critically analyze this particular thing, and at the same time you need to grasp that information. You can either grasp that information or jot it down as per your own convenience. Appreciative listening and selective listening. Appreciating listening just maybe our favorite listening. Sure, we love deep and meaningful chats, and we are all for learning some new of the latest nature of documentary. But listening is something for pleasure. It might be a certain piece of music boost, and that add to the favorite radio host. Appreciative learning that we appreciate a most. Say, for example, like I have told you, that in the process of listening itself only, we tend to listen only to those particular things that are of interest. Any goof up, or any spicy talk, or any kind of spicy news are always being appreciated by us, because we are appreciating that thing. We are appreciating the feeling. We are appreciating the momentum, the gesture of it. Selective listening, when we select what is good and what is right, and we tend to listen to it according to our own best ability. Rapport listening. Rapport listening is basically upon focusing on the high note with a short, with a style of listening on really a positive and a lovely factor. Rapport listening involves quite a few style we have already mentioned, but it takes to a different level. This type of listening is the one we use when we are trying to build a relationship. Now, rapport listening, as the name only suggests, that when we are building a relationship, when we are building a momentum, say for example, momentum between any kind of thing. So it's a thing, it's a feeling which we need to tend to listen. We are developing, as we are developing, or we are tailoring the feeling, the rapport between the two. So rapport listening is basically when you are developing a relationship, when you are developing a kind of a momentum. Four component of listening. Component of listening. For listening, you need to hear, you need to understand, you need to consider, and you need to give feedback. Four essential barriers of listening. Barriers of listening are natural tendency that we want to speak first, because we all believe that we know the best and we can speak the best, and we must go on with the further aspect. Negative perceptions, emotional, external and internal, and our ability to talk much faster than someone can speak. Now what is happening? This is a matter of fact that we are in a habit of actually dealing with the situation. We are in a habit of actually telling that we know the best, and we are comprehending that thing quickly. Do not quickly speak something, because the poise, the composure, the eloquence of listening is totally dependent upon the way you speak. Process of listening. Six basic stages of listening. First is your hearing. Now it refers to that when you are actually hearing it, you need to perceive, you need to hear it very logically, paying attention. You need to pay it very well. You need to attentively listen to what you are actually making the process of, because hearing and hearing it with attention goes hand in hand. Because the thing is that ultimately you are hearing a particular thing and making a momentum of it and making a thing out of it. Understanding. To understand, you need to understand each and every word. You need to hear that in a logical sequence. Remember, you need to remember something. You need to, for that you need to make it a negative. You can remember it by using any kind of eloquent manner, or in any kind of thing. Evaluating. You basically need to evaluate at this stage. The active listener is going to evaluate that whatever the thing has been said is being said of utmost importance and is of utmost phase. Responding. You need to quickly respond to whatever is being said. Hear and listen. There is a difference between hear and listen. Hear is a verb to sense a sound with your ears, and listen is to give an attention. Here you can hear an alarm, but you need to listen to your doctor. Hearing is something which you are not going to, which you do. And listen is something that is a part and parcel of your life. Let's take a quick recap. We have done complete listening aspect. We have done the things. We have done the active listening point of view, and the difference between the hearing and listening, the types of listening, the nature of listenings, and all. So that was all about my presentation on listening. And to the best of my ability, I have tried to give you a definition of listening. And if any point or anything I have missed in any of the thing, you can just refer it to me, or you can contact me by writing a mail to me, or any doubts you can clarify to me by just coming to the cubicle of mine, or telling me that what is not being understood by you. So I end my presentation. Thank you.